Blues fans, welcome back to the Blues Hub. Chelsea fans. Chelsea are continuing to make big moves in the transfer market as Xabi Alonso works on building a stronger squad at Stamford Bridge. This time, the Blues are being linked with two exciting young talents, Alex Scott and Miles Lewis-Skelly. Both players have qualities that could fit Alonso's plans, but could Chelsea actually make a move for either of them? In this video, we take a closer look at Chelsea's interest, what both players could bring to the team and how they could fit into Alonso's new project. So make sure you subscribe to the Blues Hub, like the video, share it and tell us your opinion in the comments. Let's get straight into the story. Chelsea target Alex Scott and Miles Lewis-Skelly as Xabi Alonso builds his new Blues squad. Chelsea's transfer plans under Xabi. Alonso continue to attract major attention, with two Premier League talents now at the centre of the conversation, Alex Scott and Miles Lewis-Skelly. Chelsea have shown strong interest in Bournemouth midfielder Alex Scott, with Sky Sports reporting that the Blues are among the clubs monitoring the England international after he rejected a new contract at Bournemouth. Chelsea have also been linked with a significant bid for the midfielder. At the same time, Chelsea have made an inquiry about Arsenal's Miles Lewis-Skelly. The 19-year-old can operate at left-back and in midfield, giving him the versatility that could be particularly attractive to Alonso. The Lewis-Skelly situation, however, is complicated. The latest Sky Sports reporting says Chelsea and Manchester United turned down an approach from an intermediary regarding the Arsenal youngster. That means Chelsea's interest should not be interpreted as a completed negotiation or an imminent transfer. For Alonso, both players represent interesting profiles. Scott could add energy, technical quality and versatility to Chelsea's midfield, while Lewis-Skelly could provide flexibility between midfield and the left side of defence. Chelsea are therefore looking at two different players who could strengthen different parts of the squad. The bigger story is Alonso's attempt to create a Chelsea team built around technical quality, tactical flexibility and competition for places. Could Alex Scott become one of Alonso's midfield additions? Could Lewis-Skelly eventually make the move across London? For now, both situations remain separate, but Chelsea's interest in the two young English players shows that the Blues continue to look for quality as Alonso shapes his new squad. Why Alex Scott and Lewis-Skelly interest Chelsea? Chelsea's interest in Alex Scott and Miles Lewis-Skelly shows two different sides of the club's recruitment strategy under Xabi Alonso. Scott would give Chelsea another technically gifted midfielder who can operate in different positions. His ability to carry the ball, work defensively and contribute to attacking phases makes him an interesting option for a Chelsea midfield that is being reshaped for Alonso's football. Sky Sports has reported strong interest in Scott from Chelsea alongside Arsenal and Manchester United. There have also been reports of Chelsea making an approach for the Bournemouth midfielder. Football 365, Lewis-Skelly is a different profile. The Arsenal youngster can play at left-back but has also demonstrated his qualities in midfield. That versatility could make him attractive to a manager who wants players capable of changing positions during matches. The latest reports have placed Chelsea among the clubs monitoring his situation, particularly after Arsenal strengthened their midfield. However, there is conflicting information over Chelsea's intentions. Some reports say Lewis-Skelly has been offered to Chelsea, while another report says Chelsea declined an approach through an intermediary. The Times +1. That distinction is important. Chelsea monitoring a player does not mean that a transfer is close. It simply means the club is assessing the possibility and deciding whether the player fits its sporting plans. For Alonso, that flexibility could be extremely valuable. Imagine having a midfielder such as Scott who can help progress the ball while also having a player like Lewis-Skelly capable of contributing from midfield or the left side. It would give Chelsea more options when dealing with different opponents. But Chelsea's priority must remain building a balanced squad. The club cannot simply sign players because they are talented. Each player must have a clear role, and the coaching staff must understand how that player fits into the overall system. That is particularly important for Lewis-Skelly because he would be competing for places in a Chelsea squad that already has significant depth. Scott would face a similar challenge in midfield. Competition is healthy, but Chelsea must ensure that every signing has enough opportunities to develop and contribute. This is where Alonso's management will become crucial. The Spanish coach will need to establish a clear hierarchy while still rotating his squad throughout a long season. Injuries, suspensions and fixture congestion will create opportunities, but players must also understand what is expected of them. For Chelsea supporters, the exciting part is that the club is looking at players who can provide versatility rather than simply filling one position. Alex Scott could strengthen the midfield, Lewis Skelly could provide options between midfield and defence, and both are young enough to potentially become important parts of a long-term project. However, neither transfer should be considered completed at this stage. The story is still developing, and Chelsea's next decisions will determine whether interest eventually becomes a formal bid and ultimately an agreement. For now, Alonso's message is clear through the type of players being considered. Chelsea want technical quality, versatility and players capable of adapting to a demanding tactical system. And that makes Alex Scott and Miles Lewis-Skelly two particularly interesting names to follow as Chelsea continue shaping the next version of the Blues. Xabi Alonso's vision for Chelsea. Xabi Alonso's arrival has brought a new tactical direction to Chelsea, and the club's interest in players such as Alex Scott and Miles Lewis-Skelly reflects the importance of versatility within that project. Alex Scott could give Chelsea another dynamic option in midfield. His ability to move the ball, carry possession and contribute defensively would allow Alonso to use him in different tactical situations. For a manager who wants his midfielders to be comfortable both with and without the ball, that flexibility can be extremely valuable. Lewis Skelly offers another interesting profile. His experience at both left-back and midfield means he can potentially provide solutions in more than one area. That type of versatility can become particularly useful during a long season, when injuries and fixture congestion force managers to adjust their lineups. But Chelsea's interest in the two players should not be confused with completed transfers. Scott remains a Bournemouth player, while Lewis Skelly remains under contract with Arsenal. The situations surrounding both players therefore require negotiations between clubs before any move could become reality. For Alonso, the bigger objective is creating a squad in which every player has a clear purpose. Chelsea need players who can adapt to different opponents, understand tactical instructions and maintain a high level of intensity. Scott and Lewis Skelly both possess characteristics that could fit that philosophy, which explains why their names have attracted attention. The potential arrival of either player would also increase competition within the squad. Competition can be important at a club with Chelsea's ambitions. Players cannot afford to become comfortable because another talented teammate can challenge them for their position. That pressure can raise standards throughout the squad. However, Chelsea must also consider development. Both Scott and Lewis Skelly are young players, meaning the club would need to provide an environment in which they can continue improving rather than simply expecting immediate perfection. This could be particularly important for Lewis Skelly. At just 19, he still has significant room to develop, and any move away from Arsenal would represent a major step in his career. Scott, meanwhile, already has substantial Premier League experience, which could make his adaptation to another top-flight club considerably easier. For Chelsea, the combination of youth, experience and tactical flexibility is exactly what makes these situations worth monitoring. The club's recruitment strategy under Alonso appears focused on creating a squad capable of competing over an entire season rather than relying on a small group of players. If Chelsea eventually secure Alex Scott, he could add another dimension to the midfield. If Lewis Skelly were to arrive, his versatility could provide Alonso with additional tactical solutions. But for now, the focus remains on the negotiations and the decisions of all parties involved. Chelsea have the ambition, Alonso has a clear opportunity to shape his squad, and the next stage of the transfer window will reveal whether Alex Scott and Miles Lewis-Skelly become part of that new Chelsea project.